I'm super excited to bring you this video today. It is all about my favorite drink. Forget the holidays. I make coquito any time of the year because I will drink it any time of the year, or I will bake with it any time of the year. If you don't know what coquito is, you probably don't have any Puerto Rican friends and you need to change that. Coquito is a Puerto Rican cocktail made with coconut milk, rum, cinnamon. Some people add eggs. Some people want to fight if you add eggs. I'm of the opinion that eggs or no eggs, ponche or coquito, whatever you want to call it, give it to me. As long as it has rum, as long as it has tons of coconut and spicy cinnamon, we're good to go. So I want to teach you how to make all the different types of coquito recipes that I've come up with. But before we get to that, I would like it really, pretty please, if you could click the subscribe button so that you can get updates whenever I post new recipe videos. Once this coquito recipe is out and free and blessing the world, I'm going to be posting a lot more ways to use it. So you definitely want to subscribe. So let's get started and let me show you how I make my coquito. Start by making a spice tea which will flavor the coquito. You'll need 3 cinnamon sticks, a teaspoon of whole cloves, 4 or 5 allspice berries, and 2 star anise. My star anise was all janky and broken, so I added 3. Add water to a small sauce pot along with the spices, then split a vanilla bean down its length and add that to the pot as well. If you don't have a vanilla bean, you can always use vanilla bean paste. Bring these ingredients up to a boil over medium-high heat. Allow the water to boil for 1 to 2 minutes and then turn the stove off. Leave the spices to steep in the hot water for 15 minutes, then strain the tea through a fine mesh sieve. Use the back of a paring knife to scrape the vanilla bean paste from the pod and add the paste to the tea. Allow the tea to cool completely before using it in the coquito. You can make this tea up to a week ahead and just keep it in the refrigerator. Now to the fun part. You'll need ground nutmeg, ground cinnamon, sweetened condensed milk, cream of coconut, and the good stuff. Spice rum, white rum, and gold rum. I told you this was boozy. You'll also need coconut milk. I use freshly squeezed coconut milk, but you can also use canned coconut milk. To a blender, add the ground cinnamon, the ground nutmeg, the spiced tea with the vanilla bean paste that we made earlier. I just give it a little swirl to get things moving. The cream of coconut, the sweetened condensed milk. If you wanted to make this vegan, you can use sweetened condensed coconut milk. If you're adding eggs, this is where you want to add 4 very fresh egg yolks to the blender. Now to liven up the party, add the white rum, the gold rum, and the spiced rum to the blender. Now, if you just want to use one type of rum, that's totally fine, or if you want to use 2, or however you want to do it. Add all of the coconut milk to the blender and blend all these together for 30 seconds to a minute just to make sure everything's nice and smooth. Coquito can be poured into any empty liquor bottles that you have. Be sure to always add at least 2 cinnamon sticks. It just adds to the cinnamony flavor. These are 750 milliliter wine bottles that I buy from a local home brewery store. You can also find these on Amazon. I'll link them in the description below. Make sure you leave 2 to 3 inches at the top of the bottle for shaking the coquito before you serve it.
That fat from the cream of coconut and the coconut milk likes to solidify, so just give it a really vigorous shake before you plan to serve it. Foam at the top of your coquito is also normal. If it bothers you, after shaking, just strain it before you plan to serve it. Pour it into your glasses, garnish with cinnamon sticks and a dusting of cinnamon, and you have your coquito.
So those are all the different types of ways that I make coquito. Let's get to some frequently asked questions that I usually get. The big debate is whether or not coquito has eggs in it. There is a very divided camp. There are people who refuse to call coquito coquito if it has eggs. They call it ponche because it has eggs. There are people who couldn't care less whether or not you call it coquito or not. They just want it with eggs. For me, I'm of the opinion that as long as you put a lot of rum in my coquito, I don't care if you put eggs or not. Now, the caveat to that is you need to use very fresh eggs if you're going to add it to your coquito. Use eggs that you purchased from the store recently. You also want to make sure that all the utensils that come into contact with any coquito that has eggs in it is super clean, as well as your hands are super clean. The reality is, if you make my coquito with the amount of rum that I put in it, bacteria is not going to live. I mean, if it lives, it's going to be drunk. So it'll be okay. Coquito with rum will last in the refrigerator, wait for it, for 6 months or longer. I've kept coquito in the refrigerator for up to a year, and it's gotten better with time. I mean, the flavor just mellows out. It kind of ages. As long as you're keeping it at a proper temperature in the refrigerator, and you're not taking it out and letting it sit on the countertop too long when you go to serve it, it should last you for 6 months or longer. I mean, it just gets better with age and with time. It just mellows out more and more. The reason why I tell you to cure the coquito for at least 2 days is because my coquito is pretty boozy. I mean, it's gotten a lot better since when I was younger and I first started making it with straight 151. I've calmed down in my old age, but it's still pretty potent. So allowing it to cure for 2 or 3 days before you go to enjoy it gives the rum time to mellow out and blend with the coconut and the cinnamon and the spicy, and it just makes it a real smooth drink. I definitely recommend aging it or curing it for 2 to 3 days, but have I drank it right out of the blender? Yes. Was it good? Yeah, it'll work. Yes, I have heard of other coquito flavors. I've seen pumpkin coquito and pistachio coquito and chocolate coquito. Listen, I don't knock anybody's hustle or anybody's coquito fetish. The craziest that I will ever get with coquito is switching up the rums. I love plain old school traditional coquito. So I stick with what I know and what has worked for decades, and that's coconut. So more power to you if you like the pumpkin spice stuff. But not here. You don't have to make the spiced tea. I do it because I'm not a fan of my coquito being too murky. I mean, as it is with the ground cinnamon and the nutmeg that I add to it, it becomes a little cloudy with those spices. So imagine if I added ground allspice or ground cloves, or, you know, you can't add ground star anise. But imagine if I added all those other spices to the coquito, the coquito would be muddy and brown and ugly. And not that there's anything wrong with brown. I mean, I'm a fan of brown. But when it comes to my coquito, I prefer it to be a light color and just flecked with spices, not inundated with spices. But you don't have to make the spiced tea. You can use ground spices just in smaller amounts. And that full recipe and how to not use the spiced tea is on my blog, and I'll link it down below. Old school coquito was made with pitorro, which is sugarcane moonshine, and coconuts and cinnamon. I'm currently brewing a test batch of old school moonshine, and this is actually made with 151, which is overproofed rum. There's pieces of coconut and cinnamon in here. I've also added my freshly squeezed coconut milk. So we'll see what happens with this. Hopefully I don't make myself go blind drinking it, but I think it's going to be okay. So you have old school coquito with pitorro or moonshine or 151, because I'm not making moonshine because I'm not trying to go to prison. This is the alcohol-free or virgin coquito for the kiddos, because we don't want the kiddos to get drunk. This is the coquito made the semi-old school way. This is the one that we made with the coconut milk. We had a little bit of canned sweetened condensed milk and the canned cream of coconut, but the base of this coquito is the freshly pressed or squeezed coconut milk. And don't forget, I have that recipe linked there. Oh, no, there. Okay. You can click there to watch that video on how to make freshly squeezed coconut milk. And then we have the vegan coquitos. So, everybody can have a sip. The kiddos, our grandpas or grandmas, and me, because this is my favorite. And then we have the vegan, which was made with sweetened condensed coconut milk, evaporated coconut milk, freshly squeezed coconut milk, and basically there's nothing the vegans can't have in here. So this is a vegan coquito. As you can see, you have your choice of coquito recipes, and they are all available on my blog, senseandedibility.com. And while you're there, check out all of my coquito recipes. I have a ton of dessert recipes. I have all my coquito recipes on there, and you will not lack for a favorite coquito recipe on Sense and Edibility. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed everything that we talked about today, and don't forget to subscribe so you can continue to get updates whenever I post a new recipe video. Coquito is in season, you guys, and you need to get on it, because it's so good. It's so good. Mm. I love it. Oh, that's good. Check. Oh, there's deer outside. Oh, it's a little baby. 2 little baby fawns. Oh, look how cute. Oh, excuse me. And look at the mama. Oh, she looks like she's hurt. Oh, poor thing. Oh. Okay.